Hi, I'm Gary Byers, and I'm a dirty, rotten, stinking sinner. The whole concept started as the spiritual life director at Helping Up Mission in downtown Baltimore. I'd been a pastor since age 22. My whole adult life has been spent in ministry. And as I began to work as a pastor with drug addicts and alcoholics, I was trying to relate to them from my world, and I realized I got my stuff, they've got their stuff, we got different stuff, but we all got stuff, and I have to work on my stuff every day, and they need to work on their stuff every day. And so I got comfortable with acknowledging to them that I deal with my issues and they have to deal with theirs. And somewhere down the line, I just said, well, I'm a dirty, rotten, stinking sinner like anybody else. And it stuck. Even at church, got a nice little note from a teenage girl at church. Thank you, Pastor Gary, for your ministry. And I will never forget that you are a DRSS. And I read the note and thanked her for the little note. And I said, now, what's a DRSS? And she said, a bald, dirty, rotten, stinking sinner. So that be me. And I actually like to say, when we deal with addictions, you may or may not be familiar with the fact that drug and alcohol addiction is discussed as whether it's a disease or not. And frankly, the leading authorities in the world can't agree on whether drug addiction and alcohol addiction should technically be called a disease. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. Whether drug or alcohol addiction is a disease or not, I do think we all have the dirty, rotten, stinking sinner disease. As far as I'm concerned, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, pornography, gambling, depression, control issues, they're all different symptoms of the same disease. And so we're all struggling with this, and the sooner we can be honest that we all got our own stuff, and mine's maybe different than yours, but I got to deal with mine just like you have to deal with yours. We're really on the same footing. And so that's where DRSS, dirty, rotten, stinking sinner, came from. That be me, and I'm glad to pass my information on to anybody else. What's working for me, I hope will work for someone else as well. As a participating member, every Sunday morning I'd feel like God says, Gary, I want you to do something. And I didn't know what it was. And I said, every Sunday we leave church, and I'd say to my wife, Gail, God, I just know I'm supposed to do something. I don't know what it is. And she said, well, why don't you start a recovery group and do here what you do in Baltimore? And as soon as she said it, I said, yeah, I think that is what I'm supposed to do. So we began our group almost 5 years ago now, and we simply teach our church family the same things I teach the drug addicts and alcoholics at Helping Up Mission, because we got different issues, but they're all the same issues. Well, first thing I found out was a bunch of people in my church family have the same struggles, exact same struggles with chemicals that some of the guys at my place in Baltimore have. And then the other issues that church family people have are just the same. And so we began to just work on whatever our problems are. We say hurts, habits, or hang-ups. Doesn't have to do chemicals at all necessarily, but we've all got hurts, habits, and hang-ups. And so on that basis, we come and we apply the 12 steps to whatever it is we're struggling with. You may or may not be familiar with the fact that there are probably about 100 different 12-step groups worldwide today. Anytime a group of people get together and admit that they have the same problem, they try to start a 12-step group to deal with it. And so the 12 steps work, whatever your problems, because the 12 steps are biblical principles for an everyday spiritual walk. And they work for whatever you struggle with, chemicals or not. And so at our group is officially called Recovery for a Lifetime. But it's a Celebrate Recovery, CR kind of group. And so it doesn't matter what you struggle with, you're welcome and you fit right in because we're all working on something, maybe the same, maybe different, but we all need to do the same kinds of things for whatever our struggles are. And so at our group on a typical week, I think, probably about half our group has a chemical addiction background and the other half have other issues. But we all work on the same stuff. We all draw strength and support from each other, and we all find answers because all the answers come from the Bible, whether through the 12 steps or through the serenity prayer or through the experience of someone else. That's where we're finding our hope and our strength and our answers. So I would invite you, if you're struggling with hurts, habits, or hang-ups, to come and join us on Tuesday nights as well. We'll benefit from your experience and your insights, and hopefully we can help you as you work through your own. The Serenity Prayer ends as we address all of our issues with God. The last line of the Serenity Prayer is, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Well, many of us have that forever in the next thing squared away, nailed down, we're ready to go. But a lot of us are really struggling with being reasonably happy in this life.